You are currently murdering your future with the weapon of just making sure, and the most terrifying part is that you think your hesitation is intelligence. While you were sitting there dissecting every possible variable and rehearsing conversations that will never happen, the life you were supposed to lead is being lived by someone half as smart as you, but twice as brave. You are preparing. You are hiding in a labyrinth of your own construction, convinced that if you can just predict the weather, you'll finally set sail, but the ocean doesn't wait for your permission and the horizon is moving further away every time you blink. Stop. Breathe. Feel the weight of that heavy, restless brain of yours and realize it has become a cage, not a tool. You have turned your greatest asset into your most efficient jailer. Every time you say, I need to think about it, what you're actually saying is, I am terrified of being seen trying. You are suffocating on the fumes of your own potential. And if you don't break the loop right now, you are going to end up as the most well-informed person in the graveyard of missed opportunities. The silence in your room right now isn't empty. It's filled with the ghosts of the versions of you that actually took the leap. They are standing in the corners, watching you refresh the same 3 tabs, watching you check the same data points for the 10th time, wondering when you're going to realize that the perfect moment is a myth designed to keep you subservient to your fears. You are the protagonist of a story that is currently stuck on page 1 because you're too busy editing the first sentence to see the epic waiting to be written. The world isn't a classroom where you get graded on how well you analyze the problem. The world is a construction site, and you're standing there in a hard hat, staring at the blueprints while the sun goes down and the concrete dries in the truck. You think you're avoiding failure, but you're actually achieving it by default. Failure is a bruise that heals. Overthinking is a slow-growing tumor of the soul. Think about the mountain. It's not a metaphor. It's that massive, jagged, terrifying thing sitting right in the center of your chest. You look at it every morning and you start calculating the incline. You check the wind speed. You wonder if your boots are high performance enough. You spend hours reading reviews of climbing gear while your feet stay planted in the mud. The pain of staying at the base of that mountain is starting to feel like a dull ache you've learned to live with, a familiar misery that feels safer than the sharp, cold air of the ascent. But that ache is lying to you. It's telling you that the base is safe, but the base is where things rot. The base is where the air is stagnant and the water is fouled by the waste of everyone else who was too scared to climb. The pain of staying the same is a slow poison, a gradual erosion of your self-respect until one day you look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back because they have no scars, no stories, and no glory. The pain of change, however, is the pain of the chisel on the marble. It is sharp, it is immediate. It is the agony of shedding a skin that no longer fits. When you stop overthinking and start moving, the friction is going to burn. You're going to feel exposed. You're going to feel like an imposter because for the first time in your life, you aren't hiding behind a theory. You're in the arena and the dirt is real and the blood is warm. Your brain will scream at you to go back to the lab, to go back to the planning phase, to go back to the planning phase, to go back to the safety of the what if. It will flood your system with cortisol trying to convince you that a minor mistake is a lethal threat. This is the biological trick of the overthinker. Your brain treats a social awkwardness or a financial risk with the same intensity as a tiger in the grass, but there is no tiger. There is only a version of you that is waiting to be born through the medium of action. Success is a messy, chaotic, unrefined process, and your obsession with order is a direct insult to the creative force of the universe. Nothing beautiful was ever built by someone who wasn't willing to look like an idiot for at least 6 months. The psychology of the elite isn't about having a better plan, it's about having a shorter fuse between the thought and the deed. They have realized that the first version of anything is garbage, so they rush toward the garbage phase as fast as possible. They want to fail early so they can learn fast. You, on the other hand, are trying to skip the learning and go straight to the trophy, but the trophy is only held by hands that have been blistered by the rope. You are waiting for certainty that does not exist in this dimension. The only certainty is the ticking of the clock and the eventual silence of your pulse. Look at your hands. They were made to build, to grab, to push, to pull. They weren't made just to scroll and type searching for more information. You are a biological masterpiece of action, yet you are living like a library book, stationary, gathering dust, waiting to be checked out by a life that is passing you by. The mountain doesn't care about your spreadsheets. It doesn't care about your 5-year plan. It only responds to the weight of your step. When you move, the mountain changes. The perspective shifts. You see paths that weren't visible from the bottom. This is the great irony of your paralysis. The clarity you are seeking can only be found in the motion you are avoiding. You want the map before you enter the forest, but the forest only reveals the path once you are deep enough in the trees to have no choice but to keep going. Overthinking is the ultimate form of arrogance. You think you can outsmart the complexity of reality. You think you can simulate every outcome in your head and choose the one with zero risk. You are playing a god in a world of mortals, but you are a god with no power because you have no presence. You aren't here. You're in a fictional future or a regretful past. You are a ghost haunting your own life. The mentor across the table from you isn't going to give you a secret formula because the formula is the action itself. It's the late night sweat. It's the phone call you're afraid to make. It's the send button that makes your stomach flip. That flip in your stomach is the only compass you need. If it feels like a void, jump into it. The void is where the growth is. The solid ground is where the stagnation lives. Every time you entertain a what if, you are feeding a parasite. That parasite grows that larger and hungrier with every minute of hesitation. Eventually, it will become so big that it will consume your ability to dream entirely. You will become one of those people who sits in bars or offices talking about what they would have done if the circumstances had been slightly different. Those people are the walking dead. They are the ones who let overthinking win. They are the ones who thought they were being realistic until they realized that realistic is just a fancy word for scared. You are not them, not yet, but you are on the path to becoming them. Every time you choose the comfort of a thought over the discomfort of a deed. The world is hungry for people who are willing to be messy. We are drowning in experts and analysts and commentators. We are starving for builders. We are starving for people who will say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. That is the only true form of courage. Courage isn't the absence of doubt. It's the total disregard for it. It's hearing the voice in your head tell you that you're going to fail and replying, maybe, but let's see how it looks when I do. You have to become a scientist of your own life, and a scientist doesn't just think about the experiment, they pour the chemicals. They risk the explosion. They accept the mess. Stop waiting for the click. There is no click. There is only the heavy, grinding sound of you forcing yourself to move against the inertia of your own habits. It will be hard. It will be ugly. You will look clumsy. Your friends might look at you funny. Your family might tell you to be careful. Ignore them. They are just trying to keep you in the village because your departure reminds them that they are still trapped. Your movement is a threat to their comfort. Move anyway. Run toward the jagged edges. Seek out the friction. The more you overthink, the more you polish the smooth surface of your inaction until you slip and fall right back to where you started. You need the grit. You need the dirt. Think about the cost. Not the financial cost, but the cost to your spirit. Every time you have a great idea and you let it die in the dark room of your mind, a part of you withers. You are teaching your self-conscious that your ideas don't matter. You are training yourself to be a person who doesn't follow through. This is how you lose your power. You reclaim it by doing the thing you said you were going to do 3 months ago. You reclaim it by picking up the pen, the camera, the phone, the weights, the tools. You reclaim it by being more afraid of staying the same than you are of failing. The pain of the mountain is temporary. The shame of the base is eternal. You are standing at the edge of the clearing. The forest is dark, and the mountain is high, and the wind is howling your name. You can turn back to the campfire and tell stories about the mountain, or you can step into the dark. There is no middle ground. You are either moving or you are dying. The psychology of success is the psychology of the hunter who doesn't wait for the prey to walk into the cave. The hunter goes out into the cold. The hunter accepts the risk of the hunt. You have been a gatherer of information for too long. It is time to become a hunter of reality. The momentum you need isn't going to come from a video. It isn't going to come from a book. It is going to come from a book. It is going to come from the physical sensation of your body in motion. The moment you start, the chemistry changes. The dopamine kicks in. The fear recedes because your brain is too busy calculating the next step to worry about the last one. This is the flow state. This is where the magic happens. But you can't get to the flow if you're standing on the bank of the river trying to measure the water temperature. You have to jump in. You have to let the current take you. You have to trust that you were built to swim. You are more capable than you allow yourself to believe, but your belief is irrelevant if it's not backed by a receipt. Show me the work. Show yourself the work. Stop trying to convince the world you're talented and start proving it to the person in the mirror. Talent is cheap. Persistence is the only currency that actually buys a life of meaning. And persistence is impossible if you are constantly stopping to ask for directions. The direction is forward. That's all you need to know. Forward when it's hard. Forward when it's dark. Forward when it's dark. Forward when it's dark. Forward when you're sure you're going to lose. The paradox of the human condition is that we only feel truly alive when we are pushing against the limits of our comfort. You are currently in a state of safe death. You are protected, you are comfortable, and you are miserable. Break the seal, shatter the glass. The air outside is cold, but it's fresh. The mountain is steep, but the view is magnificent. You don't need another 5 minutes of thinking. You don't need to finish this video to have the answer. The answer is in the action you've been avoiding. The answer is in the work. As this conversation fades, the world is going to rush back in. The distractions will scream for your attention. The overthinking will try to reestablish its grip. It will tell you that this was inspiring and that you should plan how to implement it tomorrow. Do not listen to that voice. That voice is the devil in the details. That voice is the reason you are still where you are. Tomorrow is a lie told by the weak to make their cowardice feel like a strategy. There is only now. There is only the next 5 minutes. What is the one thing you can do right this second that moves the needle? Not the 5 things, not the big thing. The one small, tangible, physical action. Do it. Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. Don't judge it. Just execute. The mountain is waiting and the sun is going down. The silence is coming, and in that silence, your excuses will sound like whispers of a fool. Your potential is a flame that needs oxygen, and oxygen is found in the open air of risk. Stop suffocating. Stop stalling. The time for reflection is over. The time for the hunt has begun. Stand up. Clear your mind. Put your weight on your feet. Start climbing. The only way out is up, and the only way up is to move. Now, keep going. Don't stop. Just move.